Okay, in this video I'm going to give you a tour around the Pinterest website. And your first task when you come to Pinterest or pinterest.co.uk is to sign up for the site. So if I click on that, sign up, and it just asks for your email address, a password that you're going to remember later, and your age. That's just because some social media sites are age restricted. It's not that they're being nosy or anything like that. Click on continue. Might ask you for a few more details, but the important bit is when it offers you some themes that you might be interested in, and it'll ask you to choose at least 6 themes. Pick those carefully, okay, and we'll see why later on. So if I log into my Pinterest account now, you will see that Pinterest starts us on the home page, and on the home page you've got a series of pins, as they call them, which have been suggested by Pinterest to me, things that they think I might be interested in. And that's based on my choices of those themes that we mentioned, that you make originally when you register with the site, and also pins that I've looked at since I joined the site. Okay, now let's just have a word about pins themselves, and more specifically about pins and boards. Now, a lot of people have got this sort of thing at home, in the kitchens, let's say, a pin board. And on the pin board you might have things like photographs from your holidays, recipes. We've got a strip of photographs here. It's not a very good picture, I'm afraid. And I think this is a calendar here and some invites. Pinterest takes this idea, the idea that you can pin things onto a board, and it says, right, all the pictures that you are offered, on videos, because it can include videos as well, are the pins. We suggest that you set up some boards which will be in effect themes for your different pictures or pins. So looking at these here, we might have a separate board for recipes, a separate board for photographs, a separate one even for holiday photographs, a separate one for invites, and so on. And you would pin these pictures or pins to those separate boards. Okay, so the boards are a way of organizing your pins into different themes. Okay, let's have a look at the home page again. So here we are back at the home page, and these are my pins. Now notice as I'm moving across the pins, it offers me the chance to save them. So we've got a red button here that says save, and if I did save that, it would be saved to my profile page, which we'll come to later. So let's choose a nice picture. We'll pick that one, let's say, and I'll click on save for that. And it tells me that that has been saved to my profile page. And we'll choose one more. Let's scroll down a bit. We'll pick, looking for something a bit out of the ordinary. What I'm trying to avoid actually is one that says promoted by, because those are adverts. So let's choose this one. Okay, this time instead of clicking on save, I'm going to click on the pin itself. And what that does is it gives me more details about the pin. It gives me a bigger version of it, so I can see the picture in more detail, or the pin. It gives me a title for it, not much use in this case because it's not in our language. And it tells me who has created that pin. And that is, I would guess, Pcast. Okay, it also tells me down here, look, that Jade has saved that to a board called Happy Place. Okay, and I can also save in there. Again, it is saving to my profile page. Okay, and that is now saved. Let's go back home. Notice that the page resets, the home page resets. So based on the choices I make, it's constantly updating the pins that it offers on the home page. Okay, so that's the home page. Now let's have a look at the next page along, which is today. So if I click on today, today is some inspirational ideas, quoting Pinterest now, that Pinterest are suggesting to us just for today's date. And what they do is they look at current ideas. So for instance, Wimbledon's coming up, So it's looking at tennis clothing there. Because we're getting close to summer, it's suggesting summer recipes and other things that are current. Okay, and it'll change those offers every day. So that's the Today button. Again, offering pins, but on a theme of their suggestion. Now I'm going to miss out the search box for now. We're going to come to that later, and I'm going to come straight across to my profile button. So if I click on my profile button, that takes me to my profile page. These details I've added myself. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And if I scroll down a bit, what you've got below there are some boards that I've created before. Buildings, flower plants, toadstools, look up as it's called, creative image, beautiful birds. So those are boards, but also as I go further down, you've got the pins that I saved earlier on. And it says that these are unorganized ideas. So I want to put these pins into boards so I can be a bit more organized. Okay, so let's do that. Let's organize these pins. So I'll click on organize. This one, let's select that and go on next. I want to put into animal shots, so I'll save. And it's done that. It tells me it's moved it to animal shots. Let's organize this one. And next. And this one. Let's have a look. Well, there's nothing there really that suits what I've got there. Okay, I don't think. So let's make a board. Let's create a board. And we'll call that board fungi. I don't really want to keep it secret. If you were planning a wedding or something like that, you might keep the board secret. If you switch on that, then nobody with a Pinterest account can see it other than you. So let's create fungi as a board. Okay, so there's the board, and that is pinned into it now. Let's just save it to be sure. Make sure it's in the fungi one, and it tells us it's saved into fungi. Alright, now if I go back to profile page by clicking on my profile button, if you wanted to create a board outside that method, then you could do that just by going to the top, clicking on the plus here, and that allows us to create pins or boards. So I'm going to click on board again. I'm going to call this board cars. I don't want it secret, and I'll click on create. And it suggests some ideas for me. So I can use these if I like, or I can start looking on my home page for pins. Let's just save one into there. We'll save that. And it's saved into my cars board. And I'm now done. Okay. Click on my profile button to go back to the page, and there we have the boards. And we've just got one more picture to organize, that one. So let's organize it. Click on it. Next. And we'll put it into buildings. And that's all my pins organized into boards. So that's my profile page. Now let's look at how we can alter our settings. To do that, we click on the drop down arrow and we go on settings, and we've got the profile details here that you can alter to suit yourself. Then a bit further down we've got the home feed tuner. So I'm going to click on that, and on the home feed tuner it shows me the pictures that I've looked at today. Now if I don't want Pinterest to remember those and update my home feed based on these pins, I can tell it to switch these off. So in other words, it doesn't consider these as things that I'm interested in. That's today's feeds. If we go to boards, I can tell Pinterest that I don't want it to suggest pins for certain boards by switching them off, like that. So now it won't suggest any more pins to do with fungi or fungi. If I go to topics, same idea. These are the themes or topics that I chose originally when I registered with the site, and I can tell it to remove those if I want to. Okay. What you can't do at the moment, unfortunately, is add to those topics, but you can do that by searching later on. I'll show you that. And the last one, profiles, is for people that I am following at the moment. We haven't looked at following yet. Okay, so do that. Alter your settings to affect what pictures you will get on your home page, and you do that by clicking on the drop down arrow, going on settings, and then going on the home feed tuner. Okay, now the last thing I'll look at is the save box, the search box. If I click in the search box, and you'd use this if you're looking for pictures on a particular theme and they're not being suggested by your home page. So if I click in the search box, what it does immediately is it gives you some ideas for things that you could look at or look for. We've got things based on what you've looked at so far, then things that are popular on Pinterest at the moment, and then some things it's just picked out based on your preferences before, food and drink, home decor and so on. Okay, and you can choose any one of those. If you choose one of those, let's choose for instance nature photography. It brings up some pins for that, and it also narrows it down. So you can choose a particular field of nature photography. So let's say flowers and roses. So when I click on that, it brings up pins based on that. Okay. Having found that, notice that we've got videos as well as pictures or pins. Having found that, let's choose one of these. Now, you notice that I had some boards. When you click on the save button, you don't have to save to your profile. You can choose to save it to one of your boards. So I click on the drop down arrow, scroll down to my board for flower garden plants, and save that pin to that particular board. Okay, so you don't have to save to profile, you can save direct to boards. If you don't want to let Pinterest choose things that you're interested in, you could just do a search as normal. So I can click in here and I could search for, let's say, fried food. I don't know why I chose that, but we'll do it as an example. And it will search out for that, bringing up thousands or hundreds of pins, and let you choose again on that. But notice again, it's broken that down into separate bits. So it's letting you choose from that. So I might want to choose vegan fried food for some reason. And it narrows down the pins that you get in that case. So it's a really powerful search engine for finding exactly what you want in terms of pins. Okay, so we've had home, today, your profile page, settings, and the search box. Last thing I'll talk about is why you might actually choose to use Pinterest. Well, Pinterest, I suppose, is aimed at people who are into pictures, into the aesthetics of looking at pictures and browsing pictures that might be available to you. I use Pinterest, or I did do on this occasion anyway, to sort of encourage myself to get out and use my camera. And just to give you an example, if I go to my profile page and I show you my board called Lookup, this was just one day when I took my camera into Weymouth and I took most of those pictures that you can see there in the centre of Weymouth. So it's a good idea if you want to encourage yourself to start using your digital camera, because you can then upload your pictures as pins to Pinterest and start swapping pictures with somebody else. Let's just cover that as the last thing on the video. If I go to my profile page, because if you want to upload a pin, you use from your profile page on that plus icon again at the top. You choose to create a pin. You add the pin that you want. So I'm going to choose from my folder, the File Explorer folder. And we're going to go into Pictures and find an example. Let's use this one, the bicycle. I'm going to drag that into there, into the Pinterest folder. Drag and drop, it says. So that's gone into there. I'll call it sports bike. I won't put any details now, but you could add some extra text onto it. And I'll save that into my quick saves folder for now. Okay, and I'll save it. So that is creating your own pins by uploading your own pictures. Okay? Have a go at using Pinterest. It's really interesting to use, even if only as an exercise for getting you to use your camera.